Oh, cut it. Cut the music. We ain't doing that. Look, before we get into this, your best option is to just click off. The only reason that I'm talking about this right now is because I was scrolling through Instagram reels and my eyes were defiled against my will. I don't know how, but Shang Tsung managed to defeat Liu Kang and retain control of the hourglass, and he managed to just screw everything up. Kanye, when he was 14, apparently did the who, what, wow with his cousin when he was still in the single digits. God clearly is not watching. I mean, he literally puts this on himself. It's like EDP with the cupcake situation when dude straight up asks him how many minors has he tried to like coerce into sex, and he's like, this will be my 6th time, and then he goes for the fist bump. It's basically that, but it's just on Twitter, and it's probably just as bad, maybe even worse, because he actually went through with it. All right, so here's the tweet. This song is called Cousins, about my cousin that's locked in jail for life for killing a pregnant lady a few years after I told him we wouldn't look at dirty magazines together anymore. Normal reaction, clearly. Perhaps in my self-centered mess, I felt it was my fault that I showed him those dirty magazines when he was 6, and then we acted out what we saw. Single digits. Oh my God. And then he has the audacity to say, perhaps in my self-centered mess, I felt it was my fault that I showed him those dirty magazines. I don't know how that necessarily correlates to a pregnant woman getting stabbed and killed. However, you admit in the statement that you are the one who showed him. So it's not like your perception that it is your fault. It just kind of is. My dad had Playboy magazines, but the magazines I found in the top of my mom's closet were different. What was it? Like freaking Optimus giving oral to Bumblebee? What was so different about it that you needed to note that? Either way, it's pretty bad. So making the distinction, I don't really think matters. But he goes ahead and finishes this off with, my name is Ye, and I sucked my cousin. I don't want to read it, dog. I really don't want to say that out loud. Did that until I was 14 tweets sent. First of all, the tweet sent isn't your mic drop. That's not like, I'm a pedophile and incestual. Whew. Mic drop your pants in the shower in prison. What do you like? How are you just gonna drop that and be like, yeah, this is my story and I'm just telling it how it is. If you guys are hating on it, whatever, but I know the truth. Yeah, now, and so do we. And the fact that you are still walking around, like, I don't understand how this man, after everything he has said, genuinely hasn't been harmed. I don't like wish for him to be harmed. I wish that he would just get off the internet and get help. But I feel like people who have said way like less worse things have had way worse happen to them, and this guy is just going after like Jewish people, saying he loves Nazis, dissing like homies both dead and alive. He made that freaking betrayal list, and then now this. But what was so bad that he said in the song? Well, let's go ahead and look at the lyrics. I wouldn't dare play the video. Hanging with my cousin, reading dirty magazines. We seen 2 niggas kissing. We ain't know what that shit mean. Then we start reenacting everything that we had seen. And what's crazy in here is how he admits to such a horrible thing and still has the audacity to make it rhyme. I feel like that's just... I wouldn't say making it not rhyme would make it better. I would say just... It's like 2 different paths of thought here. He doesn't say it so that way nobody knows about it, or it's good that he did say it because now everybody knows, but it doesn't matter because he's not going to get punished for it, I don't think. Gave my cousin head, and then he repeats it twice more. I really don't want to have to repeat it that many times, so I'm just not. Started off when we was hanging out, told my cousin not to tell nobody, which is really damning here. I think that is extremely damning. People tell me to take it to my grave. Probably should have. Truth will set you free someday. I don't think they understand. I don't think anybody does. That I'm not attracted to a man. They thought I was gay. Well, you know, when you perform oral on another dude, people are probably going to tend to think that. Now, what I think is the most damning here is he apparently told his cousin not to tell anybody. So how do we, in contrast to the we didn't know what they were doing to the don't tell anybody, how do you papers please correct that little error right there? How do you clear that discrepancy and pass them on? Because those are two very contradicting statements. Another strange thing I just saw here, for some reason Playboy Cardi and Dave Blunt's are also on this, and I guess neither of them had a problem with what was being said. And whoever Jizmi Tariq is, nobody heard that in the studio and was like, maybe we should say something about that. Anyway, last thing I want to go over here is this little article that goes over it by the Los Angeles Times. Ye continues to sound off after alleging sex acts with a male cousin, but this time it's about his kids. Ye, formerly Kanye West. Oh, like they're two different people. You got freaking Two-Face. You got Harvey Dent on one side, and then freaking Jim Carrey's The Mask, but he's a pedophile and incestuous. In the process, he accused A-list celebrities of getting the popcorn and watching the show. This would be the worst show known to mankind. This would be probably on par for like an audience rating of, you know, that Columbine game that was made? I'm pretty sure it was Columbine. It would probably be the same audience score at that, at probably like -20. They would somehow be able to break the 5-star system to go negative. Why are you all watching and letting Kim take my kids from me in real time? He tweeted in the wee hours Tuesday morning. Y'all want to say I'm acting out because of things in my childhood, but I don't get to be a dad? No. And we're going to use exhibit what the fuck is this as proof of that. You guys can make a difference. Ye wrote Tuesday. I'm fucking shaking typing this. I've had my rights stripped because I wore a fucking red MAGA hat. That's when I had a breakdown. Was put in the hospital. Finally. But it didn't look like they kept you long enough. They need to put you in freaking Arkham Asylum with the Joker, dude. Freaking Joker would be scared of this guy. I need to plan to exercise my rights with my kids. I figured out a lot of things, but I haven't figured this out. Priorities reversed right there. I think the second thing, the cousin thing, needs to be figured out before the kids thing. As a matter of fact, I'm going to amend that a little bit further. Figure out the cousin thing. Figure out the cousin thing. And then we'll put the kids just kind of like all the way over there. And then we'll just leave them. And it seems like you kind of already figured this out. You made it very public and clear that you figured this out. So we're going to just keep that there. We're going to put the kids over there. And then we're just going to leave that. He gave an example of why he needed to be around to parent his children. On the day Kobe Bryant died, the family went to Kylie Jenner's house where he said vintage Playboy magazines were strategically placed within arm's reach of every child in that house, which was every half black baby. I don't know, apparently the Playboy magazines are sentient, literally did grow legs and walk up to every minority in the house. And Kanye, probably after having another mental psychic attack from Shang Tsung messing with the hourglass again, realized that he was probably the one who put him there. I bet not even Freud could like listen to Kanye and be like, oh yeah, if you go far enough down to the iceberg into the nether, you can explain this. Not even Freud could have predicted this. I really think he needs to go back to that hospital, and not to the same one that he was at before, because clearly they didn't check him well enough. I don't know who looks at Kanye, looks at his actions and his words, and is like, yeah, he's good to go. Hitler, Jews, the cousin stuff, whatever. The pornographic, whatever. Send it back out there. Send it back into the public. Download Twitter. Slap on some Elon Musk in a MAGA hat and let him at it. Because that's just what you do, right? But yeah, that's about all.